Hello class, my name is Miss Blackman and today we'll be learning about fractions. Now fractions seem very scary, but I promise you, you've been dealing with fractions your whole life and you didn't even notice. When you order a pizza and you just eat one slice, you're eating 1/8 of that pizza. Now, we've already worked on what a fraction is, but I have this anchor chart hanging up that we can review before we start learning how to add and subtract fractions. Now, in the anchor chart, don't worry, it's a piece of cake. A fraction is part of a whole, and then the numerator is how many fraction pieces you have, and the denominator is the whole. So pretty much with 1/2, you only have one piece of the whole that is two pieces. Now, today, we'll be learning how to add and subtract fractions with like denominators. So if you have 1/3 plus 1/3, how would you go about adding this? Well, with fractions, you add straight across. However, with the denominator, it stays the same because it's the whole. So when you see a fraction that has the same denominator and you're just adding and subtracting them, go ahead and write that 3 down and focus on the top portion because that is what we're mainly focusing on. And then you would add it just like any other math problem. 1 plus 1 equals 2. And a good way to visualize this is draw a circle. Let's draw another circle. 3. And we'll just shade in this one. And now you have another shaded piece. So you can just count how many pieces are shaded in. So we have 2 pieces shaded in. And it's out of thirds. Now, this is just like subtraction. So let's say we have 5, 6 minus 3, 6. What is the first thing we should do in this problem? And I would hypothetically call on a student, and they would raise their hand, and I would say, they would raise their hand, and I'd call them. And hopefully, they'll say that we'll start with having the 6, because we don't need to worry about that. And then we would subtract 5 minus 3, which would equal 2 6. And now, just like with any other addition or subtraction problem, you can have more than 2 variables. So in the last examples, it was just 2 fractions we were adding. Now, what would you do if you had 3 fractions? Well, pay attention. So, if you had 2 13ths plus 4 13ths plus 3 13ths, how would you begin this problem? Well, we would keep the denominator the same because that is the whole, and we are working with a whole that has 13 parts. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that you're working with a whole that has this amount of parts. So you have 2. You can either do 2 plus 4 plus 3, like all together, or you can break it up into sections. So let's put our 13 down. And you would just solve this like any other addition problem. 2 plus 4 equals 6. And so we can write that down. So 6 over 13 plus 3 13ths. So we bring a 13 down again. And now you have 6 plus 3, which equals 9. I showed you this problem that has 3 parts in order for you to feel confident about your abilities to do it. Even though problems might look harder, they're not. You just have to simplify them and break them down, just as we did with these. And if you need to, you can go back to what I said with the drawing methods, because if you're a visual learner, that will really help you seeing what the fraction looks like in the shaded pieces. So that's how we'll be doing. That is what we'll be doing for our next assignment. Okay, class, now that we have finished our instruction, we'll get into our classwork. For your group work, we're going to do fraction pieces. Now, this assignment is, I'm going to give you some fractions and the added and subtraction problems, and you guys are going to create them and draw out each problem. So I don't, like how we did with these problems, you're going to make a poster of all the word problems I give you, and you're going to draw them out. So I can visually see that you guys understand how fractions and parts and wholes of fractions work. And then, so you guys will have 10 minutes to do that. And then afterwards, you're going to do, with your workbook, page 23, numbers 1 through 20, and just do the evens, and then we'll go over it. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you guys understand anything. And if you have any problems, I'll come around and help you. But thank you for participating in class today.